Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another reaction video. This one is from a YouTube channel. I almost said a company because these types of channels basically are companies. 50 Things That Prove Canada is a Unique Country by, like I said, Brightside. And the reason why I chose this video is because a lot of the times, like we saw with American Eye in a video that I did a little bit back ago, go check out that video on the top 10 biggest mysteries of World War II. These videos are just cranked out, and a lot of time they have incorrect information in them. So I wanted to check this out, see if there's anything we can debunk, and who knows, maybe we'll find out something interesting. I don't know, 50 is a big number. Let's see. So without further ado, let's get right into it. 50 Things That Prove Canada is a Unique Country by yours truly, VideoLife, Canadian, from Toronto, Ontario. Let's go.
What country holds annual bathtub races and has a prepared landing pod for UFOs? Also, it has a place where there are so many snakes that they look like spaghetti on your plate. Still no idea, eh?
I do have an idea.
Okay,
hey.
I'll give you a huge hint. This country produces more than 70% of all maple syrup in the world. Yep, you nailed it. This awesome country is Canada. And here are 50 cool facts about this place.
All right.
Canadians are famous for saying sorry all the time, even when the other person is clearly in the wrong. In fact, they apologize so much that an Apology Act was passed in 2009. It allows saying sorry in court without being afraid that it'll sound like admitting your guilt.
There's actually more than that exists in more than just Canada, the Apology Act. So the one in 2009, I don't know how the hell I know this, but is from Ontario actually. I remember this coming out when I was in grade 9 because I was born in 1995. And it was like on the news. It was like, oh, look at these funny Canadians and their Apology Act. But it's actually really quite useful. And I think other Canadian provinces have it too. So this wasn't passed federally by Canada, but rather provincially by Ontario. And I think some other places in the States have it too. But it makes sense, right? If you say sorry in court by mistake, or, you know, just because you're a nice guy, then going to jail for that and admission of guilt is kind of silly.
Approximately 90% of Canada's land area is uninhabited. Yes. Even though it's bigger than the US, it has only 11% of America's population.
Yep, and so the majority of Canadians live within 150 kilometers of the US border. Most people know that one. Yes, we live in a ginormous country. However, the population density, yeah, it's really quite high. Most people live in the same general area.
At 4,860 miles, the Trans-Canada Highway is almost the longest national highway in the world, beat only by Australia's Highway 1.
Cool. So that highway is called the 401. It sucks. If you've ever driven on the 401, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, the Trans-Canada Highway. And if I remember correctly, it's also the busiest highway in the world. I remember correctly.
Also, when you travel along the Trans-Canada Highway and reach Quebec province, pay attention, and you may see the most cheerful town in the world, St. Louis du Ha-Ha. Yep, just like that, with 2 ha's and 2 exclamation marks. The town even has a Guinness World Record for most exclamation marks in a town name. It's illegal for polar bears in Canada to break into houses and steal food. So, if you see one rummaging around in your fridge, call the cops. You can laugh all you want, but there's even a polar bear jail in Churchill, Manitoba.
Oh.
Bear troublemakers stay there until they get relocated.
That was a terrible joke. So what that is that's actually a rehabilitation center, if memory serves. They'll take bears that are sick and they basically nurse them back to health. So it's kind of like a veterinarian. It's not really a jail, but okay, sure.
Canada received its own flag in 1965, almost 100 years after it became a separate country in 1867.
At least I got the dates right. So that flag, the maple leaf, This was brought in by Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson. There was a contest that was open. I believe there was over 3,000 entries, and the Canadian flag was voted on by the committee. Lester B. Pearson wanted to go with the Pearson points, which was 3 maple leafs with sort of blue on the sides. And you can find some designs. And I also did a video on this called The History of Canada in 10 Minutes. And before then, we had the Union Jack on the top right, and we were the Dominion of Canada up until the 1920s.
People in Nanaimo, British Columbia, are fans of a very exciting kind of sport. Since 1967, they've been organizing and participating in bathtub racing.
Cool.
These unusual competitions take place every year and involve bathtub boats and a lot of fun.
I didn't know that.
Several of the most popular superheroes, such as Wolverine and Superman, were created by Canadians. Thank you so much, guys.
And Wolverine is Canadian, by the way. He's from Alberta.
The most dramatic weather change happened in Canada on January 10, 1962. The temperature in Pincher Creek, one of the windiest places in the country, jumped from -2.2 degrees to 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit within a couple of hours.
Jeez.
Canadians love hockey.
Yes.
As they say,
True.
These people breathe, eat, and live hockey. But despite their passion for the game, Canada's national sport is lacrosse.
Okay, that's partly true. Canada actually has 2 official sports, a summer sport and a winter sport. The summer sport is lacrosse and the winter sport is hockey. So there are 2 official sports. So semi-correct. Actually, so far not too bad so far. But let's
One area in the Hudson Bay region has less gravity than any other region on the planet. So if you want to jump higher and weigh less, that's the place to be.
Cool. Okay. Sure.
One crater on Mars was named Gander, after a town in the
Gander,
Newfoundland and Labrador
Yeah.
province of Canada, to honor its space research efforts.
Didn't know that.
How
either.
about this one? Santa Claus is Canadian.
Oh,
That's what Canada's immigration minister announced in 2012. So maybe that's why his famous outfit is made up of mostly 2 colors, red and white, which are the national colors of Canada.
but again, they weren't always the national colors of Canada, as we found out. 1965, before we had the Union Jack, but I digress. So Santa Claus being Canadian is something that I thought too until I went to Europe. I spent a lot of time in Finland. One of my partners, she was Finnish, and Finland actually claims Santa Claus, not Canada. And so Santa Claus is apparently actually Finnish and not Canadian, although I will defend that Santa Claus is Canadian. If you look up most of the answers, they'll say that Santa Claus is Finnish. Just saying.
Now, even though the Stanley Cup, which is the National Hockey League trophy, has its own bodyguard, hockey champions still manage to put all kinds of things in it. I mean, they drink chocolate milk from the poor thing.
Oh, they drink way more than chocolate milk, my friend. And to have its own bodyguard, there's a man, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's called the Keeper of the Cup. And his sole responsibility is to ensure that the Stanley Cup is kept safe, it is maintained, because every time that a hockey team wins it, they manage to destroy it in some manner. I think the most famous one is, I think it was, I don't remember the team off the top of my head, but this was in the mid-2000s, that the Stanley Cup actually ended up at the bottom of a pool. They got a big dent in it. So the Stanley Cup has been abused for decades now. I think it was the Montreal Canadiens in the 50s. They famously left it on the side of the road. So yeah, the cup has been used and abused over the years and has had an ungodly amount of things drank out of it.
In 1930, Canada's hockey team did so well that they were put straight through to the final game. They didn't even have to take part in knockout rounds. And in the end, they won the gold.
But for what? Olympics?
Canada's territory occupies a whopping 3,855 million square miles, which makes it the second largest country in the world after Russia.
Yep.
For comparison, Canada is bigger than the whole European Union and 15 times larger than France, the biggest European country. Ottawa, the capital of Canada, isn't the largest city in the country. With a population of about 1 million people, It comes second to Toronto, the capital of the Ontario province. Almost 3 million people live in that city.
Okay, completely wrong. Like, not even close to being correct. Toronto is the largest city, and okay, the 3 million, most people count the GTA as well, so that brings it to about 5 million. But bigger cities than that, bigger cities than Ottawa include Montreal, Vancouver's bigger than Ottawa. I think Calgary is bigger than Ottawa. I'm not sure about Edmonton. But even like Quebec City is almost as large as Ottawa. So I think Ottawa is like the 6th or 7th largest city in Canada, not even close to second. That's just flat out wrong. So, okay, I mean, that's pretty easy to Google too, just top 10 biggest cities in Canada. I think it's the second, it's not even the second biggest city in Ontario. I think the second biggest city in Ontario is Mississauga. So, I don't know how the hell they got that one.
Canada is officially the most educated country in the world, with 56% of its population having some kind of post-high school education degree. In St. Paul, Alberta,
I'll take their word for
they
it.
built the first landing pad for UFOs. Well, I guess you can never be too prepared. The platform weighs more than 130 tons and contains a time capsule which has to be opened in 2067.
That's cute.
In a 2018 happiness report, Canada was ranked number 7. I mean, even despite all that cold?
Ugh. It's not a frozen tundra in Canada, goddammit. Remember, Toronto is on the same, and I know Canada is not Toronto, but just to give you an example, Toronto is on the same latitude as Milan, right? Northern Quebec is on the same latitude as Helsinki. And it's really not as cold as some other countries. Finland is much colder. Norway is much colder than Canada on average, but I digress.
The number of Canadian lakes is mind-blowing. The country has more than 3 million lakes, which is more than the rest of the world combined.
So the lakes question, so this is a big one that comes up, is which country has the most lakes? Canada does. However, 3 million, I think that's too high. I think it's something like 2 million or something like this. But it depends on the definition of a lake. And so that's what I know about it. I know Finland, I don't know why Finland keeps coming up in this video, but Finland is the land of 1,000 lakes, or 100,000 lakes or something like this, or 1 million lakes, I don't remember. But yeah, I think 3 million sounds too high.
Besides, all these lakes contain 20% of all the fresh water on Earth.
Oh, okay, that's actually a perfect segue because it's not 20% of the world's fresh water. While that is, yes, somewhat true, it's actually only, of that 20%, not all of it is clean, drinkable, reusable, so to say, water. A lot of it is ground well water. I'm sorry if that's not the correct technical term.
Okanagan Lake,
that was painful. It's Okanagan,
is supposedly the home of Ogopogo, a mythical creature similar to the one that's said to dwell in Loch Ness, Scotland.
Yeah, Ogopogo is a kind of a cute, deep reference, Canadian sort of like bar trivia thing. It's a touristy thing by now, but yes, there were sightings of the Ogopogo monster back in the 60s when camera quality was not of the highest. But now, obviously, since camera quality has got much better, there have not been many sightings of Ogopogo since.
Forests cover more than 40% of Canada's land territory, but New Brunswick province is especially foresty. Trees cover 85% of its territory. Walking in the forest without a compass doesn't sound like fun anymore. Canada has the world's longest coastline.
Yes.
If you decided to walk along the Canadian coast without stops, it would take you more than 4.5 years.
What?
No wonder, since you'll have to cover about 151,000 miles.
Okay, I'm not gonna pause the video and do the math, but that sounds very wrong. 4 years? I think it'd be like at least 10. If you have to walk that entire distance, 4 years? All right.
In Quebec, they produce 77% of all the maple syrup in the world.
Yep.
And Canadians do love this sweet pancake topping.
I don't.
On the other hand, who doesn't?
Me.
By the way, rumor has it that somewhere in Canada, there's a strategic maple syrup reserve.
So that's funny they mentioned that. It's not allegedly, it's true actually. Quebec has a massive reserve of maple syrup, and during the COVID pandemic, they actually had to release there's lots of barrels of maple syrup because production had slowed down. And yes, so there is a giant reserve. It's this massive warehouse where maple syrup is in these white barrels. Looks like some Raiders of the Lost Ark type thing. It's kind of cool.
About 10% of Canadians are either vegetarians or vegans. That means 2.3 million vegetarians and 850,000 vegans. Most of these people are under 35. The national animal of Canada is the beaver. By the way,
So cute.
it's
Oh,
Canada's
Jesus.
largest and the world's
Why'd they pick that image?
second largest rodent.
Yes, the largest rodent being a capybara.
The capital city of Canada, Ottawa, is at the top of the list of the world's coldest capitals. Canada
Sure.
is home to the biggest number of polar bears in the world. See for yourself. Out of approximately 25,000 left on the planet, 15,000 live in the Arctic regions of the country.
Okay.
Canada straddles not one or two, but 6 time zones. They are Newfoundland
does.
time zone, Atlantic time zone, Eastern time, Central time zone, Mountain time zone, and the Pacific time zone. Hey, time out!
Oh my God.
The lowest ever recorded temperature in Canada was minus 81.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Ooh! Tap water in Canada is as good as bottled water. What's more, some people are sure that it even tastes better.
Okay, so to talk about tap water, which is one of my favorite stupid subjects to talk about, allegedly, Toronto has the cleanest tap water in the world. I have heard that disputed from about 45 different people, but I've also had the same number of people tell me that yes, it is true. And to say that Canada has the cleanest drinking water in the world, you got to remember that in some northern communities, they don't have access to drinking water, right? They're on boil water advisories. And that's a whole political topic, obviously. But I've heard the claim of, when I'm here in Austria, because that's where I live right now, they said they have the cleanest drinking water. When I was in Finland, they said they had the cleanest drinking water. Iceland claims to have the cleanest drinking tap water. So I don't know who to believe anymore. There's probably an answer what the definition of clean is. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments below. And if you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
While driving in northwest Canada, be prepared to see license plates shaped like a polar bear.
They're cool. I want one.
By the way, there are so many bears in Canada that in some areas, drivers leave their cars unlocked. Why, you ask?
Okay.
It's done to make sure that people have a chance to escape from the bears by hiding inside a car.
Sure. I'll
The
believe it.
largest mall in the U.S. is the Mall of America. But did you know that its owners are Canadian? Wait, what?
Why is that shocking? And the biggest mall in Canada, by the way, is the West Edmonton Mall. And if any Canadians know the show 16, I'm really dating myself with that one. It's set in the West Edmonton Mall. This was a Canadian TV show that was on when I was a kid that I thoroughly enjoyed.
If you're a fan of narwhals, go to Canada. There you can buy a coin with this unicorn whale.
Oh,
On the other hand, be ready to part with $300 since the coin is made of gold.
that's probably some Canadian Mint thing. So the Canadian Mint makes tons of different unique coins that are made of gold and silver and celebrate important Canadian cultural events and the Queen and this and that. And so, yeah, it's not that you can just go to a random store in Canada and go buy a $300 narwhal coin. It's probably you have to order it online, or you can order it in some manner from the Canadian Mint Society.
Or, if you want to play big, you can buy a Canadian $1 million coin. No kidding.
Yeah.
This largest coin on the market is
Why do
made
you
up
use a
of
Bitcoin?
220 pounds of 99% pure gold. But hurry up, there are only 5 such coins in the world, and only one is for sale.
Yeah.
Ever heard the word loonie? Yeah, well, in Canada, this is in fact a form of currency. Loonie and toonie as well. The loonie is a $1 gold-colored coin, and the toonie is, as you might guess, a $2 one.
And they are called loonies and toonies because on the $1 coin, there is a picture of a loon. And when you put two loonies together, you have $2. Therefore, it is a toonie. Makes perfect sense to me.
Canadians love their famous interjection, eh? What's more,
I'm
it's
guilty of
listed
this
in the
one.
Canadian Oxford Dictionary as a real valid word.
Really?
The first
Okay.
British Columbians used fish instead of candles. Ulichin, also known as candlefish, is so fatty that when you dry it and string on a wick, it'll burn brightly.
Cool. Okay. Didn't know that.
In Canadian McDonald's, you can
No.
buy the McLobster,
No, you
sold
can't.
exclusively in this region.
False. So the McLobster is available in the east coast of Canada. However, it was only very briefly brought to other parts of Canada. I want to say like 2016, maybe 2015. I never tried it. I should have, because then, I don't know, I could talk about it in this video 7 years later. But yeah, no, you cannot just go to any McDonald's in Canada and get a McLobster. Just saying. Sorry
You
to
can buy the
disappoint.
McLobster, sold exclusively. Never ever visit.
Whoops.
Now, if your biggest fear is snakes, never ever visit the Narcissi snake dens in Manitoba. There are
Okay.
more snakes in that place than in any other part of the world. Thousands of red-sided garter
Sure.
snakes are concentrated in that relatively small area. In Saskatchewan, you don't wear a hoodie, you put on a bunny hug.
Yes,
True.
that is true.
Ev-
Which is super weird. I don't think anyone outside of Saskatchewan calls it a bunny hug, but anyways.
Every spring, the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador witnesses a stunning iceberg parade, when massive chunks of ice break off glaciers and make their way through Iceberg Valley. Entrepreneurs harvest these mini icebergs to use them in the production of alcoholic drinks and skincare products.
Sure.
Wood Buffalo National Park, created in 1922 to protect the largest herd of roaming wood bison in the world, is larger than Switzerland.
So that's one thing that I liked doing. There's this website called The True Size Of, where you can compare the size of countries and you can drag them over the map and see how big, certain countries are. And there's so many things in Canada that are bigger than, Germany and France. Like you can fit like 4 Germanys or 3 Germanys into my province of Ontario. So to have a park that's bigger than Switzerland, I mean, maybe even Algonquin Park is like a significant size of Switzerland. It's kind of, yeah.
One of the most popular dishes in Canada is poutine.
Yep.
Crispy fries covered with cheese curds and rich gravy. Hey, what's not to like?
It's pretty good. Try it if you can.
Canadians eat more macaroni and cheese than any other nation in the world.
Yes.
You didn't see that coming, did you? By the way, the Canadians have been crazy about this dish ever since 1845.
Okay, well, I didn't know about the 1845 thing, but yes, mac and cheese, as the Americans would call it. Kraft, the corporation, sells what we call here Kraft Dinner, KD. My childhood was certainly filled with KD. I haven't had it in a while now, but now that I'm living in Austria, kind of feel like eating some right now. But yeah, for some odd reason, we do consume the most mac and cheese out of any other country. Just is how it is.
Canadians are some of the friendliest people in the world.
No, they're not.
You probably can't find a rude Canadian, even if you try really hard.
Definitely not true.
Lots of Canadians speak
That was it. No, Canadians are human beings as well, and they can also be rude. Shocking.
French as their first language. And Montreal.
Wait, what did he say specifically?
Lots of Canadians speak French as their first language. And Montreal is the second largest French-speaking city in the world, after Paris, of course.
No, that's impossible. There's no way. Because you have all the former French colonies in Africa that speak French as well. I mean, off the top of my head, I would think that maybe, I don't know, DRC maybe would be bigger, as well as, yeah, that's the one that tops off the top of my head is the DRC, and Algeria too. Although obviously it's French-speaking minority, and by the way, only 22% of Canada speaks French as their first language, Maybe it's 25%, I don't remember. So it's not lots, it's certainly a minority, and most of them are concentrated in Quebec, which is the French-speaking province of Canada.
Pretty cool, eh? Say, have you heard any other curious facts about Canada? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new today, then give this video a like.
Cool, so that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. There was a couple of incorrect facts, and maybe I missed one or two. Let me know what you guys thought below. That was 50 things that prove Canada is a unique country. I think every country is unique. That's kind of the point of a country, but I digress. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all very much. If you made it this far in the video, you're the best. Thank you. And yeah, check out some of my other some of my other content. Like, comment, subscribe. It all helps the channel very much. Thank you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.